Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at Nice to Be Alive by Ballpark Music. This is a really fun song to play. It's in A flat major, so just remember as we're going through, we've got a B flat, an E flat, an A flat, and a D flat. I've also written in the capo chords for a guitar. You can play G shapes, so as you go through the tutorial, that'll be in the brackets above the normal chords, so that's G shapes on capo 1. And let's get into it. I hope you have fun with it. Okay, starting off with the intro here, I've transcribed this one down the octave, but it's actually to be played up the octave, and we'll get into it. I'll kind of, for now, just keep playing through, and then we'll come back to each section slowly. Okay, let's have a look at those notes there in the intro. We're going to be starting on a C, going to a B flat, then to an A flat. Just remembering that there's the flats in the key signature there. And the other thing to remember is that I've notated this one down the octave here, but we want to play it up here. So I'll talk you through the notes. C, B flat, A flat, C, B flat, A flat twice. Then climbing back up, B flat, C, D flat, C, B flat, A flat, G. Then climbing down on the F to the E flat, then to C to B flat. Okay? Now, as you can see from the chords there above, the bass notes kind of follow what I've got written there. So it starts on an A flat, it's a D flat, C, B flat, A flat, E flat there. Stays on the E flat. Okay? So that's the first little bit, then it launches into this next bit. Now, the other thing that's important to remember about this next little bit is it's actually the exact same thing that's played throughout the chorus. So the second half of the intro is the same as the chorus. So when we do get to the chorus, we won't be going back through it the whole way through. We'll just be referring to this part we're about to learn now. So this is the second half of the intro and the same as the chorus, okay? So right hand here does a D flat octave, kind of just quavers, but the song's kind of swung, and then it goes to C. So it's like D flat to C, D flat to C. So you might want to practice that just by itself a few times before we get into adding the left hand. But when we do add the left hand, that's going to be, I'll just show you the basic chords first, then we'll talk through the actual bass line. So first of all, it's an A flat to G, to F minor, to D flat. Now, interestingly enough, when we get to the E flat at the end of that progression now, D flat to E flat, you stay on the D flat in the right hand. So the last two chords of that progression are D flat, E flat, while the D flat keeps playing in the right hand, okay? So, A flat, G, that's a G bass note, but it's actually an E flat chord. So that's what we call a E flat on G chord. And then an F minor, D flat, E flat. Each of those chords kind of goes for 2 bars at the fast, in the fast counting. And then the D flat and E flat are 1 bar each there. Okay, looking at the bass line here in this part of the intro, it starts on an A flat. Now it just moves around a little bit. It kind of walks a bit. So it's just going to go using some leading notes. So starting on the A flat, then we go up and back down to the G. So A flat, B flat, back to A flat, then to G. Now this one walks down. So that's going through G, F, E flat, back to F. Now the one off the F actually walks up before jumping back down. So F, G flat, A flat, D flat, and then just E flat. I don't think on those last two it doesn't walk around at all. It just goes D flat to E flat. So that's okay. So when you add that with the right hand, cool. The next part of the intro, which again is the second part of the chorus, is then it's exactly the same thing, but it adds the harmony note in the right hand, which again creates a really nice tone. So for the D flat, it's an F in the middle, so you play it as you play the top note, like that. And for the C, it's an A flat. So that one's pretty tricky. It's definitely a stretch. If you feel like you can't reach that or haven't got big enough hands to do it, then it's absolutely fine. Just keep going with the D flats and the Cs. But if you want to give it a try, you add an F and you add an E flat for those two chords. So. Cool. And that leads straight into the verse. So from the top of the verse here, the first couple of bars of the verse don't have any piano in them. So I've just transcribed here and I'll show you how to play the melody and what the guitar plays, the acoustic guitar. So it's just an A flat chord and G capo 1 if you're playing on an acoustic. And then the melody is the same as the melody from the intro of the song. Now when you get to this chord here, the D flat, that's when the piano part comes back in. And the piano plays this, D flat and F, C and E flat, B flat and D flat, A flat and C, with the left hand note just mirroring whatever the bottom note is in your right hand. Going then to a G and B flat in the right hand with an E flat in the left hand. Okay, so that's that whole little bit there. Again. Okay, that's the first half of the verse. And I should say now as well, that's actually the same as the first half of the second verse. So we won't be going through it again when we get to the second verse. The second verse is just exactly what I've just done now for the first verse. So looking now at the second half of the verse, it's very similar. It just ends differently, but starts exactly the same way. So on the A flat chord with that same melody. Okay, now this is where it goes a little bit different. We're going to do the same octave thing we did in the intro. Or when I say the same octave thing, it's just the same idea, but this time we're going to move it a different way. So we're going to go on the D flat and play octave, and then down to the C, then to B flat, then to A flat. Now here's where right hand goes to G and the left hand goes to E flat. And actually when you get to that G in the right hand, that's when you stop doing the fast octave movement and just go to octave notes. So. And that's coming down, those notes are G, F, E flat, C, B flat. So that whole little bit is. Okay, so that's the second half of the verse. Now this is the part, the next part is the now stop. Don't get carried away. Now, I would call this maybe the pre-chorus, and that's the way I've labeled it, kind of going through the music here. So perhaps you disagree, but just for the purposes of this tutorial, we're just going to call it a pre-chorus. So here we have, as the lyrics suggest, we kind of have a bit of a stop. So you play through the chords, but just play them at the start of every chord change and don't rhythmically play them out. At least not on the piano. We've got the electric guitar going in the recording, which is pretty cool. So it starts on an A flat chord. Again, I think the inversion that we've been doing already is the one that works best there. So E flat, A flat, C. So A flat second inversion. Then the next chord is a C major. So that's going to be, in this inversion, G, C, E natural. Then we go to a B flat minor chord, which is B flat, D flat, F. And then it's got this little E flat ending here with a little bit of what we would call a chromatic run. So the notes run down using both black and white notes. So using those notes at the top of your E flat chord. So E flat in the left hand, G, B flat, and E flat in the right hand is how that goes there. Okay. So that little bit again, we repeat it. So then it goes A flat again. Then to a C chord, then to a B flat minor again. Now the second time you do it, the ending is pretty much the same, just a slight rhythmic difference. It just goes. So instead of doing the E flat at the top twice, you only do it once. Okay? Hopefully that all makes sense with the music that's popped up as I've been playing it and explaining it. But yeah, the main idea there is just those chords as stop chords: A flat, C, B flat minor, and then the rhythmic and melodic little variation there when you get to the E flat chord. And okay, so that's where we then run into the chorus. We're not going to run through it in detail again, but like I said, it's just that when you go to it's that thing from the intro, and you play through it twice. And again, just a reminder that the second time you go through it, you add that harmony note: D flat, F, D flat. Yeah. Okay. So that's that kind of takes us through actually to pretty much the bridge. We haven't run through every single little part repetitively, but that's all the elements that make that up. So the intro we did, the verse we did once, and then that just repeats in the second verse. The chorus is the same as the second half of the intro, and then that repeats twice. Then if we look at the structure of the song after the second verse and the second chorus, we then go into the bridge. So looking into the bridge there, what we do when we start that is it's very similar to what we do in the intro, not exactly the same. I think we kind of just fill out the chords a little bit more in the bridge, whereas in the intro we played them as individual notes. So we start with the A flat chord again, that very familiar melody to you now, which is the... Okay, so now we got up to this one. In the intro, we just did a D flat note. This time we want to try to do the whole D flat chord. So F, A flat, D flat. Then an A flat on C chord. So an A flat here, same inversion of A flat we're doing, but instead of playing an A flat in the left hand, we're playing a C in the left hand. Then we've got a B flat minor, which is in the first inversion, which is D flat, F, B flat being the melody note at the top. So those three chords in a row again are... And then we go to another A flat, this time in root position. C, E flat, A flat with an A flat in the left hand. And then we go down to the full E flat chord with an E flat in the left hand. Now this is where it differs a little bit. The melody goes up in the right hand. A flat, B flat. Then to C, E flat. So then it does that same thing twice. It does it again, which is... up in the melody. Okay, now we head into the last chorus. Now I will take you through this because it is a little bit different. This is where the song peels back to just acoustic guitar and the vocal melody there. So I will just take you through that. We're playing a flat chord in the right hand, the same one we're doing the whole time, but because the melody uses a D flat, we play that instead of the C. So that's Don't Stress. Then we do an E flat chord, again with the same melody note at the top, and we do it on G, so not a big E flat in the left hand, but rather just a G. That's done. So Don't Stress, that's done. Then into an F minor chord. Okay, so I've just popped up all those notes there for you in sheet music, but to take you through those slowly, we go for the F minor with a D flat at the top of the melody, F, A flat, D flat, to C, to B flat, then to A flat, and that's where the melody of And It's Nice to Be Alive starts. So A flat, again, 3 times, sorry, then B flat, C, then back to A flat, B flat. And underneath that, your D flat and E flat are working together. So I'll play that for you one more time slowly. Okay, then it just launches into the second half of the chorus, which we already know. That's where we go back into the... Okay, so that's kind of the whole thing. And the last little thing I will mention is that the way it ends is you just stay on the D flat to F. You don't change. And when you get to the last D flat chord, as we come out of the last chorus, I think I'll actually play the whole last chorus for you. You just do a D flat, E flat, D flat, E flat, D flat, E flat to finish, and then finish on a big A flat major chord. So from the start of the from the end of the last, halfway through the last chorus, effectively after we've played the quieter version of the chorus. And finish on a nice A flat chord there. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial and found it most illuminating and informative. I will be back very, very soon with another tutorial. I'm definitely finding that you guys are really loving and enjoying the Australian music, so I'm going to keep going with that for now. If there's any requests for songs at the moment, I'm pretty much taking any request, so please leave them in the comments, or you can send me a message on my channel. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. It would be much appreciated, and hopefully see you guys soon. All right, thank you.